Well, how do you find the best crowdfunding site for you? Man, the real answer is nobody knows. You don't know, I don't know, and all the experts that you're probably going to wind up paying some money to, they don't know either. But you get a better guess, and I think the biggest problem is that be careful. That's all. Just don't jump into everything, because this crowdfunding thing is growing so fast. A couple of years ago, it just started like 4 or 5 years ago, and if you go to Google now and Google crowdfunding websites, you get 2 million websites, 2 million already, And again, first people you'll see are people trying to sell you something. Mine's better than you, and they're not unbiased opinions, so you got to be very careful. Or I put in best crowdfunding websites, and actually the first article, somebody wrote an article that's 2 years old, and in this world, 2 years is like forever, So be careful, what you get. And just the most important thing, I think, to make any kind of decision, just don't jump at the first pretty face, you see. Now, I've been studying websites, these crowdfunding, for about 3 years. Now, I've done 700 interviews on these. And so what I'd like to show you is my instincts of what I think are the best ones out there. And nobody knows everything, and I don't know what the real best are. I'll tell you what pops up. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people who've used crowdfunding and everything, and they all have, everyone has a different story on why this is better or that's better or whatever. So there's no one opinion you could get on what is the best website. Now, for crowdfunding, you have to remember there's 3 different kinds of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding means just going down to a lot of people and having a lot of people give you money, instead of going to one person like a bank or some fat cat investor that they give you all the money you need, or your brother-in-law or something like that. But no, this is sort of on the internet, so you get hundreds of people. You are one person going to hundreds of people. And that's the power of this thing, to find this. And the kinds of crowdfunding money that's available, the most popular one now is pledges. Pledge, you don't have to give back. So it's free money on the internet. And remember, all these crowdfunding sites, they cost nothing. And maybe there's a few specialty ones that charge us some small upfront fee, but no, it costs you nothing to try. So that's an important thing, is it doesn't hurt if you're wrong. If you choose the right site you think is right and you're wrong, it doesn't matter. You learn. So why play the Super Bowl, the first day out, when you could practice on some of these smaller sites and get more help from people, Because when you go to the bigger sites, you get less help. You have to do it all yourself, and there's less, people are less available to hold your hand and stuff like that. And even in the most popular sites, what's better and best? And I've talked to people who made $1 million on this one, $1 million on that one, and tried both, and the one that people would think that'd be more was less, and So there's no right answer. And when you don't know the right answer for you, what happens is we become vulnerable, and we expect somebody else, hey, that knows the magic answer, and just give me the magic answer, and then I'll do what you say because you're right. Nah, they're wrong. I'm wrong too. You got to figure out what's right for you. So let me go through some stuff that I've learned in like 2.5 years, and talking to over 700 people who've used these sites, and talking to people who manage these sites. And I'll show you videos of the people who use the site, videos of the people who run the sites. So we got dozens and dozens of videos here that I'm going to tell you about on how to use them. Now the biggest site around now is Kickstarter. They're the grandfather of all this stuff. They're the biggest thing. So they're going to give you the least amount of help, and they're the most bureaucratic. And that's what's called a pledge site. Now, the pledge site, again, will cover loans and equity, when these are sites that you get business partners from the crowds. Hey, that sounds like a good business. I'll become a partner for you. Or loans, and we'll cover those a little later. But the most popular ones, like Kickstarter, that's a pledge site. So, hey, I like your idea. And remember, your idea doesn't have to be complete. When you do something on here, you just have an idea. Hey, I want to do this. I need money to make it happen. And you go on and look for the money to make it happen. So Kickstarter, they're the big one. The other big one is Indiegogo. Now, they're, like Hertz and Avis. of these things. And the third big one is GoFundMe. Now, they're the three big sites. Now, if you list for the biggest sites, everybody has their own list of biggest. But after those three, it's anybody's game. And really, there's like, I've heard as many as 1,000 websites out there, that have crowdfunding features on it. So it's a huge universe. It changes every day. So 2 days after I talk, it's probably going to be different or whatever. But so that's why I want to give you a little background on how to choose the right site for you. So mainly to show you the kinds of different sites out there. So we have the pledge sites, the top three: Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe. Here's another interesting one. We have a video of this person too. The fellow runs a site, fundraiser. Now they did, they raised $1 million for somebody in like 80 days, around the world in 80 days. No, he got $1 million. Great little site. They see, after the big guys, a lot of them, the others really concentrate on helping you personally, because see, they make a percentage of what you get. Now, the other thing about a lot of sites is like winner take all. Like Kickstarter, the big site, you have to get all the money you need or you get nothing. So in other words, you need $10,000 to do something. If you get $9,000, you get nothing. The other sites, a lot of them don't work that way. So a lot of the other ones don't. Kickstarter seems to be holding the reins on Kickstarter. So the way to do that, just put a real small number in there, and you go get that, and you keep going. So that's what most people do, on those limits, that they have. So fundraiser. Another one. Here's another little cute one called Buckkeistador. Now, this is a woman deciding, hey, this is like for people with their bucket list. And to go get money to fund their bucket list in life. See, I mean, you can't imagine the kinds of things that are out there to go crowdfunding. That's what the idea of this video is, to educate the options that are out there. And they're fun, things you didn't know. See, the biggest problem to me in life is knowing the questions to ask. Here's another one, crowded.com. That's another. And again, it's a small little guy website who does all the work, and he helps you do it and everything. So that's why on these smaller sites, man, so instead of getting into the big ones and getting overwhelmed by all this, it may be a good strategy to start with one of these small ones, try and see how it goes, and then go to another one. Community funded. Now that's a nice fella I talked to, because they run community program. They want to get fundraising for local groups, local organizations, local businesses, and stuff like that. And Funder Hut is another one like that. See, a lot of these things are really aiming at the community. So they're trying to get people in the community to help fund your project. Like, you want to open a coffee shop. So who would be better than to fund your coffee shop than the people in the community, right? So if you need 50 grand for the coffee shop or whatever, and then and that's why these are more local oriented kind of things, that may be the kind of thing, because you get local people, then they become your salesmen too, because the more people you get to give you money, then they believe in what you're doing, man. And you name a coffee cup after them or something like that. See, there's so many neat things to do like that, and there's lots of little ones, and then also special interest crowdfunding sites. So here's one called Chip and Ship. Now this is you chip in money for somebody so they could ship a gift to them. Oh, I need money to go back to school, or I need money, to buy knapsacks for my kids. And it's a small little site like that. See, who would have known to even ask? And see, you learn the tips of asking for help like that. Or here's one, Feather Your Nest. This is on housing. So this is for people who need housing. You need down payment money. You need to fix up your roof or whatever. That's all that crowdfunding site is for. And that's, again, money that you don't have to pay back. Here's one for videos and movies called seedandspark.com. Man, I mean, this is, you want to raise money. You can do it on one of these big sites. Remember the big sites we talked about, the general purpose ones. You can do anything. I've seen people there get $10,000 to taste their potato salad. And see, if it's a product, you give them a product for free, when you make it. And that's how a lot of these things do. So that's one. There's for real estate, realtymogul.com, okay? Now that's for real estate investors. That's for little guys to be going with the big guys. And actually, I have a I'm going to interview someone now who just did a a review of 100 real estate websites. See, there's 100 real estate websites to move. So as I'm doing this video, next week I'm going to interview a guy that does a report. So if you Google 100 real estate crowdfunding sites, and you'll see his report on that. We're going to interview and talk to him. Now here's two good ones just for writers and authors. If you're an author, you have something to write, man, you'll learn the system being on these two sites. One is called pubflush.com, pubslush, pubslush.com, and the other one's incubate, INKUBATE.com. I mean, they're both for learning the publishing system. It's so different now. I mean, when I was writing books, man, and I wrote 10 of them for these people in New York, 2 New York Times bestsellers, the business isn't like that anymore. All the agents and publishers go to sites like this and look for interesting things to maybe get behind, or they help you publish it yourself so you could sell some copies and then get behind, or raise money, get $10,000, to publish it yourself on these sites. And actually see all the other big sites too. You could put them on there too. I've talked to a lot of people who publish and got money for their publishing, on these big sites.